Is it working? Is it working? We're in our second 20 minutes. If anybody is still there, I'm just going to chat for a few minutes to see if anybody signs back in. I don't know what happened. For some reason, it said I was on instead of webcam, which is always on. Instead of webcam, it said streaming software. So I'm lost. I just got totally out of it and came totally back in. So I'll talk for a few minutes if anybody is there. I'll set the timer for 17 minutes and get back to my baby bear, and we'll see if anybody signs in. I might have lost everybody since. Let's see. I'm going to say hi in the chat and see if anybody shows up. We might just be out of luck for this week. We'll see. See if anybody pops back in. I had a handful of people that were on, but I think there was something wrong on my end, obviously, because nobody was chatting or saying hi or nothing, and that's the usual. What happens is people chat. Anybody home? Anybody there? I guess you guys can always leave me a message on any of my videos. Leave me a message. Let me know what happened or what you were getting on your end. What happened? Because I'm assuming you can hear me now because it looks like my microphone is spiking up and down. And my webcam light is on. So, oh, there's somebody. Is this person able to text and say hi? Whoever you might be. Sorry about that glitch. I know that took way longer than it should have to fix. Hopefully that person's able to say hi here in a minute. I'll give you guys another couple minutes. I might still be glitching on your end. I don't know. Oh, Oh, okay. Patricia, I think you're one of my new folks, aren't you? Your name looks familiar. Thank you for joining us today. We usually have close to a dozen people on, and then, of course, more watch afterwards. But thank you for tuning in. What we usually do here, because I don't think I've seen your name before, Patricia. Thank you for coming. We just talk about what's going on, what we're working on. We talk about our, sorry, I dropped my hook. Talk about our projects, and we were talking about the holidays a little bit ago. Sorry, it's kind of dark in here. It's very cloudy outside today, and it's cloudy and cold. It's in the 30s, but the wind chill makes it feel like it's in the teens. So I don't know where you are located if you want to share, but here in Central Illinois, it's an icky day. And if you're just joining in, I am working on a bear for a Christmas gift for a friend of mine, for her niece. And then the boy bear is for her nephew. See if anybody else comes on. Oh, a week before Tiffany left, you joined me. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for speaking up. I appreciate that. I always like to know, if you can, who's on and what you're doing. Let's see how much time we have left in this 20-minute segment. We've got 13 minutes. So what are you working on, Patricia? Do you go by Patricia? It might just be you and me today. I don't want to repeat everything I've already said about my holidays, so I won't subject you to that again. But did you have a nice holiday? I hope everything went well. Did you travel? Did you run into traveling problems like we did. I tell you, the airports look like it was a total mess, so I'm glad we were driving and not flying. A couple times I have flown to Cincinnati from here in central Illinois, but it's almost more trouble than it's worth, and it's been years and years ago. So we just drive. So I'm going to give it a few more minutes to see if anybody else pops back in. Let's see. You know, sometimes I like these mindless projects when you have to do a bunch of rows, single crochet, but then by the time I get to the last row, it's like, okay, I'm done. I want to work on something a little different. So, Miss Patricia, if you're able to type in what you're working on, I'd love to hear about it. Let's see. Ooh, I got one more row. And so, Patricia, I'm assuming that you know about our story time we've been doing the last several weeks. We've been using the last 20 minutes for you guys to just work on your project. You don't have to interact or talk or look up or anything. And I'm reading from Sense and Sensibility. And we're almost on chapter 20. So we're how much through? Third quarter of the way through. So that'll be the last 20 minutes. And when the alarm goes off in 10 minutes, we are going to stretch. Got some exercises to do so we can all stretch along together. Let me see if I can finish this last row. I'm sure I can before the alarm goes off. Oh, somebody else joined. Hi, whoever that is. I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties that we had. I think we're back up now. I don't know what happened. You know, I thought maybe it was because of the Sunday thing I did with Holly, but we were on StreamYard. We weren't even on YouTube. So I don't know. Just one of those weird glitchy things. And I am not tech savvy at all. So it takes me a while to play around and figure things out. Trying to get this guy done. I've got 51 hours before I told her I would deliver these to her. Our group is getting together Friday night for a supper, and I said, I'll have them ready by then. So yeah, I don't think it'll be an issue. But sometimes I like working on deadline. Other times it's not so fun, but I like this little project. It's really not a little project. He takes a while to put together. Benjamin Bear by Lindsay from Off the Beaten Hook. Cute pattern, and she writes great patterns. She's a very good designer, I think. Okay, nobody is on at the moment, so I'm just going to be quiet for a couple minutes. Save my voice for the reading time of our time together. So when the alarm goes off, we'll do our stretches. And then if nobody has joined by the time I get ready to read, I'll just wait till next week. Hopefully next week we won't have any of these issues. And I know there are there are actually more people that watch afterwards than watch it live. So I don't know. Maybe I will go ahead and read it because we ended in. I was looking at it. We ended in the middle of a chapter, and I'm like, oh. So I should at least finish that chapter. Okay. It's done. Okay. 2 more. Okay, you know what? Since we have 5 minutes left, I'm just going to go ahead and read the last part of the chapter, and then I will let you guys be, because I don't want people to get frustrated with this, with the computer stuff. So basically, we left the Dashwoods, and some company had just arrived, and so I'm going to read what happens with they kind of barge in on Mrs. Dashwood and her daughters, and brought by their neighbors. I can't remember their names. Jennings, who owned the cottage that they're living in now. Mrs. Jennings talked on as loud as she could and continued her account of their surprise the evening before on seeing their friends. Oh, excuse me. Okay, the people's visiting at Palmer's. Mrs. Palmer laughed heartily at the recollection of their astonishment, and everybody agreed 2 or 3 times over that it had been quite an agreeable surprise. You may believe how glad we were all to see them, added Mrs. Jennings, leaning forwards towards Eleanor and speaking in a low voice as if she meant to be heard by no one else, though they were seated on different sides of the room. But however, I can't help wishing they had not traveled quite so fast, nor made such a long journey of it, for they came all around by London upon account of some business. For you know, nodding significantly and pointing to her daughter, it was wrong in her situation. I wanted her to stay at home and rest this morning, but she would come with us. She longed so much to see you all. Mrs. Palmer laughed and said it would not do her any harm. She expects to be confined in February, said Mrs. Jennings. Lady Middleton could no longer endure such a conversation, and therefore exerted herself to ask Mr. Palmer if there's any news in the paper. No, none at all, he replied, and he read on. Here comes Marianne, said Sir John. Now, Palmer, you shall see a monstrous pretty girl. He immediately went into the passage, opened the front door, and ushered her in himself. Mrs. Jennings asked her, as soon as she appeared, if she had not been to Allenham, and Mrs. Palmer laughed so heartily at the question as to show she understood it. Mr. Palmer looked up on her entering the room, stared at her some minutes, and then returned to his newspaper. Mrs. Palmer's eye was now caught by the drawings which hung around the room, and she got up to examine them. Oh, how beautiful these are. Well, delightful. But do look, Mamma, how sweet. I declare they are quite charming. I could look at them forever. And then sitting down again, she very soon forgot that there were any such things in the room. When Lady Middleton rose to go away, Mr. Palmer rose also, laid down the paper and stretched himself and looked at them all around. My love, have you been asleep? Said his wife, laughing. He made her no answer and only observed, after again examining the room, that it was very low-pitched and the ceiling was crooked. He then made his bow and departed with the rest. Sir John had been very urgent with them all to spend the day at the park, and Mrs. Dashwood, who did not choose to dine with them oftener than they dined at the cottage, absolutely refused on her own account. Her daughters might do as they pleased, but they had no curiosity to see how Mr. and Mrs. Palmer ate their dinner, and no expectation of pleasure from them in any other way. They attempted, therefore, likewise to excuse themselves. The weather was uncertain and not likely to be good, but Sir John would not be satisfied. The carriage should be sent for them, and they must come. Lady Middleton, too, though she did not press their mother, their mother pressed them. Mrs. Jennings and Mrs. Palmer joined their entreaties. All seemed equally anxious to avoid a family party, and the young ladies were obliged to yield. "Why should they ask us?" said Mary Ann, as soon as they were gone. "The rent of this cottage is said to be low, but we have it on very hard terms. If we are to dine at the park whenever anyone is staying, either with them or with us—" "Oh, they mean no less to be civil and kind to us now," said Eleanor, "by these frequent invitations than by those which we received from them a few weeks ago. The alteration is not in them. If their parties are grown tedious and dull, we must look for the change elsewhere." Okay, so that was Eleanor. She is currently pining for Edward. And, excuse me. Oh, and Marianne, of course, is pining and longing for the day when Willoughby gets back from his unknown business. And remember, he kind of darted away quickly. We have less than a minute left in this 20-minute segment. So I'm sorry, everybody, that things went went off the rails. But next week, please join me at the same time, and we will chat then. And let's get a lot of people involved in that one, because it'll be before Christmas. It'll be fun. Maybe I'll wear my Christmas shirt again next week. So we'll see. I hope everybody has a good day. Bye-bye.